All right, guys. Hey, welcome to the lesson today. And what you're going to be doing today is building a repository of relevant blog articles. Articles, and we're picking and choosing content that matters to you, finding stuff that we can tap into throughout the semester that and throughout the course, that things that actually matter to you. So, repository, you see that word there. What does that mean? Think about it for a second. What does repository of relevant blog articles mean? What does the word repository mean? So one way to figure this out is just think about the phrase repository of relevant blog articles. Just look at the phrasing and see if you can make a connection. So one trick would be to go ahead and replace the word repository with another word that you're more familiar with and see if it makes sense. That's one way to test and try to figure out what a vocabulary word means. So see if you could replace the word. Could we put a hub of relevant blog articles? A place of relevant blog articles? Something, again, that's more familiar. So let's go ahead and Google that word repository. Okay. And let's see what comes up here. So repository, the first thing Merriam-Webster comes up and it says right there, a place where a large amount of something is stored, a person who possesses a lot of information. So I'll close out of that. A repository of relevant blog articles, just a place where we're going to store like a hard drive, like just an area where we're going to store all these blog articles. That's what we're going to be doing today. So let's just go ahead and get started. This lesson might take you a little more than an hour to complete. So just focus here. And the way to complete this is that throughout the video, there's going to be prompts and then the text box will open up and that's where you're going to put your answers. So don't start typing until you see the text box that pops up. The video will be paused for you. All right, so let's move forward. All right, so now what I want you to do is I want you to answer this question. What is your main interest? I want you to write down what you want to learn about the most. Is it technology? Is it, entertainment? We talked about some of this in class. I want you to just to give me your top interest, though. So give me that one main interest and go ahead and write it down in the text box. All right, go. What's that one main interest? All right, good. All right, so again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to find 3 amazing blogs. We're going to look for blogs that are important to you. And you know what a blog is, right? Those internet websites where there's a ton of articles. It's like a modern day newspaper, a modern day magazine. That's really what's, it's really the form of the media of our time that a lot of us consume, how we consume information online. So we're going to be looking for, you're going to be choosing, you're going to be finding, searching for, and choosing 3 blogs that are awesome, things that matter to you. But the condition here is that it has to be about an area of your interest. It has to be about your area of interest, something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, something that you want to find more information on, something that excites you. So that's really key here. So make sure that is what we do when we look for the blog. The other condition is that it cannot be from a major news source. So I don't want you picking nytimes.com or cnn.com. It's not that those are great sites, but I just want us to be more, creative with what we choose. I want you to just find things that are new. We already have TV news and that's the popular news, the things that we see on television, all the major websites. But I want you to find, that's the purpose of the internet, things that are new, things that are more interesting. There's a ton of blogs that have overtaken even some of the major sites, and I want you to find those new blogs. So don't choose NY Times or CNN. It has to be a new blog, something that you probably never heard of before. Now, before you do that, before I set you off to do that, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to find some cool blogs, some blogs that are interesting, that have interesting information. So here's some tips, right? How do we find some of these blogs? A lot of people wonder, well, how do I find it? So the first tip is in Google, type your interest plus the word blog. So if I'm interested in finance or technology, I'll put finance blog or top finance blogs. So let me demonstrate that for you really quickly. So let's say I put technology blog at the top here in Google. Now, what I'll do is I'll look through, I don't have to go with the first listing. I want you to skim through probably the first 20 listings, because a lot of the interesting stuff is not always on the front page of Google. So The Guardian, obviously, here's one. The Guardian, click through that. And we find that there's a technology blog here, and it's connected to a major newspaper called The Guardian, right? We could scroll down and see all of the articles. that. I scroll down and you can see LA Times. So I don't want you to choose newspaper. I want you to try to find some new blogs, things that are really new. But here's one marketing tech blog, labnull.org. Huffington Post is a really popular one. Here's Tech Republic. Now go to the second page and you'll see here's TechCrunch. Now this is a new blog, something that's only dedicated to technology, something that you won't find a magazine on. It's something new, Gizmodo. So go ahead and click it and check out what's there. Just take a look at it and see if it interests you. Read some of the headlines and see if it's stuff that interests you here. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that. So that's one tip to find a cool blog. Another tip is to go to news.google.com and check the categories. News.google.com. And Google News picks up a lot of cool articles, a lot of interesting articles. And you could choose from the left here your categories. If I'm on science and technology, you can see here, this is CNET. This is GMA News. It's just findings of space.com. Well, this is CNN. So a lot of times Google does pick up some major news sites, but scroll through and you might find some stuff that you never heard of before, like Information Week. You'll see it here. Christian Science Monitor. All right. So check your category and see if you could find some new blogs. So click through to the article and look through the blog that's connected to the article. And that's going to connect you with the article. That's going to connect you to the blog to see, if the blog is interesting to you. It looks like there's a little stalling here, so I'm going to close out of that. But you can do that on your own. The next tip is look through your Facebook share feed. You might have things that are shared on Facebook sometimes are really have, when people share an article, go to the article and look at the site and see what the site is. A lot of times these Facebook articles come from blogs. So look through your feed. You might find something interesting. The key is to pick the blog. So social media is where a lot of cool blog articles are shared. The next one is Twitter. Definitely you could use Twitter as a great source. But sometimes, you only find things that are in your feed. But if you're not following some interesting people, you're probably not going to find cool articles. So you got to make sure you're following people that are related to the category that you're interested in. So one way to do that is by going to search.twitter.com. If you go to search.twitter.com, you could search tweets and find articles there. So it's actually searching for everything that's being posted. And since things are always being posted on Twitter, you almost always find something. So if I search just the word technology, if you just search your area of interest, most likely you'll find tweets that are linking to articles. So right here, if I just put in a part that I'm interested in, if I say I'm interested in, you might not even put the category. You might put in, okay, I like iPhone or Android. I'll go ahead and put Android. So it's picking up like right here, the top blogs under Android and Me. You could click through that. You could see right here, you'll see the URL to the blog. And look, we just discovered some really new blogs, some cool new blogs here. Probably never heard of before. Android and Me, scroll through that. And you'll find, look through the articles there. So I'll close out of that. You could also look through the tweets. A lot of times the tweets are bringing in, are linking to some really cool sites. So look at this, a new one called BGR. So if you search your topic, if you search either the main category or some of the things that you're interested in, it'll bring up tweets and people that are connected with that. So what you do is either click the link to the article and look at the blog, or click some of the top people and see, their URL. They probably run a major blog. Again, let's try technology one more time, and it'll show you the top 3. Look, TechCrunch, Wired, Engadget. If I go to Engadget.com, it'll show me right here, and I can go to that site. And now I'm at Engadget. And these are blogs they probably never heard of before, but these are top-notch blogs. So this is Twitter is really, it's probably one of the best ways to find content. Twitter is probably one of the best ways to find new and relevant content, even more than Google at times. So how do we know if a blog is actually a good blog? So what are some signs of a healthy blog, right? Because if you Google things, you might find things that are, might be some articles, but the blog is not really that reputable. So what are some signs of a good reputable blog? Number one is that it has many great articles that are fairly long. So if we look at Engadget and we look through, we see here, a ton of articles here written by so many different people, right? John Fingus, Brian Heater, and just so many articles. So this is definitely one sign of a great article, of a great blog, sorry. So let's close out of that. Another sign is an email opt-in. So not always, but a lot of blogs you'll find they'll have like an email opt-in, so you can opt into their subscriber list, or right here they have some kind of sign up or login. I can show you one that I will teach you to be rich.com that has more of an opt-in, email opt-in form. So here's one. The person's been featured. It's run by this Ramit Sethi. He runs the whole blog, and you can click here, right up there, it goes to blog. And if you click that, you'll see here there are free downloads. There are, there's the, I'll wait till it loads. Here's an email opt-in form. I'll close out of that. On the right side here, you can download more content. So when you find something that, you can subscribe, most likely they are, it's a good way to see if they're reputable. I'll close out of these again. Another way is to check the monthly traffic and their Facebook likes. So if it's a site that has a ton of Facebook likes, it's a good sign. If it looks like it gets a lot of traffic. So if I go to this one blog called Policy Mike, and this is more of a politics blog or current events blog, you'll see here, if I click on right here at the top, they have 22,000 followers on Twitter and 94,000 likes on Facebook. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good sign. Again, they have a newsletter. These are signs of a good, healthy blog. A lot of articles here. Again, you might want to scroll down, look through the About Us. They have a team. These are signs of healthy blogs. Another sign of a good blog is they're dedicated to one topic usually. So Engadget.com is only dedicated to technology. News sites back in the days would be dedicated to all these, every category. But a lot of modern day blogs are dedicated to one topic, like technology or finance or relationships. So usually they're dedicated to one topic, but not always. There's usually either one main author it's his main voice, like the I Will Teach You to Be Rich is one main author, or there are many contributors, like the Policy Mike, where if you go there, I'll show you there. You'll see, if I scroll down, they have a team of contributors, a lot of people involved. That's how again, great sign, right, to have a lot of people. Okay? All right. Those are the signs of a healthy blog. So now you're actually going to find 3 blogs now, but let me give you the instructions. So now it's your turn to use all those tools and go look for some blogs. I want 3 blogs. I don't want anyone to choose the same blog as another person in class, so make sure you be as unique as possible. So here's what you're going to do. When the text box pops up, when you get a chance to write below, you'll put the blog's URL in the comment box. So I want you to copy and paste the URL to the blog. Then for each blog, I want you to write down what specifically made you choose the blog. What is it about the blog that you're interested in? All right? So I want you to go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and find the blog and write down what specifically made you choose the blog. All right, go. All right? So when you're done with that, now I want to go to, I want you to locate the best articles. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through each blog. But first, we're going to start with the first blog. So your first blog that you chose, let's say it was policymike.com. I want you to skim through the blog and become familiar with the articles. Read the headlines. Look through them, and look for, this should take you, some time here. Look through the articles. So go ahead and just pause, and just go ahead and skim through, the first blog and go ahead and take a look. Okay? Look through the article, look through the blog for about, 5-7 minutes. Okay? And when you're done with that, come back. All right. Now what you're going to do is, after you look through the blog post, I want you to look through 3 blog posts that spike your interest. So I want you to particularly pick 3 blog posts that you really, really liked, or things that were really interested, that really, triggered you. So look through the first blog, skim through the article, you already did, and find 3 blog posts. And I want you to jot them down. But before you do that, I want you to ensure that at least one article is fairly long. Sometimes the articles might be short. I want you to make sure you have a really bulky article with a lot of information. Okay? So now we're going to do this now. So step 1 here, we're going to choose the first blog. Type the blog's URL in the comment box when it pops up. Then below the blog's URL, paste the URL to each article that you chose. But now there's a few more steps here, so pay attention. Answer these 5 questions right below each article. So again, you press in the blog's URL, the 3 blog posts, and then under each blog post, the URL to the blog post, I want you to answer these 5 questions. I want you to say, why did you choose this article? Write down the question, then the answer. Why did you choose this article, and then answer? What do you think you'll learn from this article? What do you hope to gain from reading this article? How could you benefit from that? How could you benefit from what you hope to gain in your life? So how could you benefit from that thing that you're saying you hope to gain? And finally, what's one thing you currently believe about the topic related to the article? So I want you to ask yourself, look at the title of the article and ask yourself, what do you currently believe about the topic? Without even reading, you don't have to read the article. I just want you to know, what do you believe about the topic? And just jot it down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jot down each question, write it down, and write out your full answer. All right, so go ahead and do that now. All right, good. When you're done with that, you're going to do the same for each blog. So you're actually going to do that for blog 2 and blog 3. So let me take you to the post here where you're actually going to type it. So go ahead and type the blog's URL in the comment box. Just reviewing it for you. Step 2, below the blog's URL, paste the URL to each article you chose. Answer these 5 questions. Here are the questions again. And now go ahead and do that now. Go. All right, good. Now we're going to do it for blog 3. Again, just to review, type the blog's URL in the comment box. Below the blog's URL, paste the URL to each article you chose. Answer these 5 questions right below each article. And then here are the questions. Why did you choose the article? What do you think you'll learn from this article? What do you hope to gain from reading the article? How could you benefit from that? And what's one thing you currently believe about the topic related to the article? All right. When you do all that, you're done. So you've completed all the steps here, and you got all the blogs. Everything is finished. Now, I want you to look through some of the blogs your classmates chose. So if you actually refresh the page, you'll see some of the comments below of all the different, go ahead and take a look at some of the blogs that they all posted. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll go ahead and look through your responses. Take care.